Goalies, yeah, are extremely hard to draft due to the situations they are presented with on a certain team. They could either have a bad defense in front of them, or they are simply just bad. Other times, goalies just work on their game tremendously, and a 7th round pick will evolve to have the skill of a 1st round pick. Sometimes, yeah, it's just extremely hard to tell, and that's why some NHL goalies go so low in the draft. I mean, take Igor Shesterkin as an example. He's already an NHL legend just 6 seasons into his career, and he was only a 4th round pick in the NHL draft, and a pretty late one at that. Another example would also be Ben Bishop. He was picked relatively late in the 3rd round, and now he has a career save percentage of .921 with 413 games played and 222 wins. And although we are pretty early into Dobes' career, we are looking at an extremely good goalie that was picked far behind in the draft. Dobes started his playing career in Czechia, and for some of his playing career, he played in quite a bit of games where the players were way older than him. Dobes, as a 15 to 16 year old, was at one point playing in an under 20 league, where in the one game he played, he put up a .967 save percentage and a 1.67 goals against. Unfortunately, Dobes would lose this game though. Dobes, to further improve his game, would move on to North America, and until he joined the Montreal Canadiens, had been playing there for that time period. His first couple of years in North America were a success, as Dobes would play with teams such as the St. Louis AAA Blues, where in his first season he would put up okay numbers. But in his next season, Dobes would put up great numbers with a .921 save percentage, 2 shutouts, and a 2.38 goals against average in just 19 games. Not to mention when Dobes had played for, I don't really know how to pronounce this, but I'm going to try, the Smet Jesuit High, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He put up good numbers in the 2 regular season games he played, and then had amazing playoffs, going 5-1 while having a .932 save percentage in the process, and out of the 5 wins, he had 2 shutouts. This shows that Dobes' game was progressing tremendously, and his good playoff performance shows that he can perform in high pressure situations. This proved that Dobes was ready to move up to the bigger leagues, where he would start to play for the Topeka Pilots, and in the start of his draft year would put up great numbers, where in 10 games played, he would put up a 7-3 record with a .946 save percentage and a 1.59 goals against average. And what's crazy is that out of those 7 wins, he had 3 shutouts. However, he would end up playing the rest of his draft season with the Omaha Lancers, where he'd put up relatively mediocre numbers with an .891 save percentage and a goals against average of 3.09. And, well, with this, he had a record of 9-6-3. He did get a shutout in one of those games. Now, although he had a good record, this is the best reason I can honestly think of as to why he actually went to the 5th round in the draft. Well, it's honestly just because of how he finished. You know, he had a good season, but when he finished with the Lancers, he didn't have the best numbers in the world, and I guess this influenced the draft, but honestly, who knows. Dobes would be drafted for the Montreal Canadiens in the 5th round, and in the following year would play one more year with the Omaha Lancers, and would put up a better season, as out of the 47 games he played in the 2020-21 season, Dobes would put up a 26-16-3 record with a .908 save percentage and a really nice 2.48 goals against average. In fact, if you look at Dobes' playing career, he's only had a goals against average of above 3 once in his career if he's played more than 10 games in a season, and that one time was, as said earlier, when he was playing for the Lancers in his first draft year. Moving on, after his USHL days, he would move on to the NCAA, where Dobes would play for the Ohio State University, and this is where Dobes would truly shine. In his freshman year, Dobes would put up an incredibly impressive .934 save percentage, 3 shutouts, and a 2.26 goals against average in a season where Dobes would go 21-12-2. This incredible season for him would earn him the Big Ten Goaltender of the Year and Co-Freshman of the Year honors, and was nominated for the Mike Richter Award. This award was presented to the best goalies for that NCAA season. Dobes is a goalie who was able to close off really any type of openings for players to shoot in. He's extremely good at positioning himself in the crease, and he seems to be able to stop shots without even really moving. He really is one of a kind, and the multiple incredible performances down in the NCAA really show it. He followed up his first incredible NCAA season with another really good season in the 22-23 season, where he'd post a 21-16-3 record with a .918 save percentage and a 2.31 goals against average. I know I said it earlier, but this dude's ability to keep his goals against average down and below like 2.5 or 3 is incredible, and it's one of the reasons this dude is so damn dominant within the crease. This amazing follow-up season would give the Montreal Canadiens the green light to sign Jakub Dobes on an entry-level contract, where then Dobes Jakub Dobes would play his first season in the AHL. And well, this guy did not disappoint, as in his first season with the Laval Rocket, he put up good numbers, as in 51 games played, he would have a record of 24-18-6, a .906 save percentage, and a 2.93 goals against average. Dobes would keep playing dominant, as it seems he just keeps getting better and better in whatever league he plays in, and this season in the AHL in 14 games, he posted a 9-3-1 record, had a save percentage of .910 with a goals against average of 2.44. This was good enough for the Canadiens to give Dobes a shot in the big leagues. He made an insane impression by shutting out the Florida Panthers in his first NHL game and would proceed to go on a 5-game win streak with the Canadiens, but unfortunately would finally drop his first game to the New Jersey Devils, where the Canadiens would lose in overtime. I want to give you some scenarios on some plays to determine whether Dobes will give up the goal or not. So the first example is when the Montreal Canadiens played the New York Rangers, and this insane game would go to overtime as it would be 4-4. Now Dobes wasn't having the best night with giving up 4 goals on a little more than 20 shots, but nonetheless the Canadiens are still in overtime. Now Panarin finds Trocheck driving to the net, and Dobes makes an absolutely beautiful save. Now this one was tough, but if you look closely at Dobes, before Panarin passes his puck, you will notice that Dobes is facing between Panarin and Trocheck, most likely so that he doesn't have to move much if this puck is passed. Or it could potentially be so that Dobes has eyes on Panarin and Trocheck. Not really sure if goalies always do this, but tell me in the comments below. By doing this, he easily sees Trocheck driving in, and although it was a tough save, Dobes still toughed out really well as he didn't have to move much. And since his size is helping him here, this puts Dobes at an absolutely prime position to save this puck, whether this puck is shot or passed. Now, for the next game I want to show you, it's 3-3 when the Montreal Canadiens have played the New Jersey Devils just a couple of days ago. We're in the third period and the Devils are rushing in. It's a little less than 6 minutes remaining in the third period, but here I just want you to keep your eyes on Dobes. Look at him, he's just doing the butterfly, doesn't change his position at all, and by doing this he is set for the save and makes 2 beautiful saves to keep the Montreal Canadiens in this game. These 2 saves are a couple examples of how Dobes has pretty much mastered the butterfly style, and I feel that it's almost intimidating to a shooter in this position, as I feel he cuts off all openings for a shooter. Take another example from him in the NCAA. In this game, Michigan is playing Ohio State sometime in December of 2021, and it's 2-1 Michigan in this game. Now Dobes was getting rained on with shots in this sequence, but look at him here. He sticks to the butterfly position, and with him being stiff in the crease and just not letting go of that butterfly position, this allows for a nice save that really makes him look like an absolute brick wall. Now Michigan would win this game 4-2, but it still highlights Dobes' ability to stay seriously nice in the crease. Now yes, Dobes has his moments where he does give up some weak goals, but when he's in the brick wall position, or as, well, that's what I like to call it, but it's the butterfly position, he is seriously unstoppable. Now Jakub Dobes this season with the Montreal Canadiens is 5-0-1 and is rocking a save percentage of .933 with a goals against average of 1.93 and 1 shutout. Now although Dobes has lost in overtime, this doesn't take away from the fact that he made 40 saves on 44 shots and honestly had a really nice game and is continuing his hot play. Now there is always a chance that Dobes might not become one of the greatest. Yes, there is always a chance, but in this sample of games it just doesn't feel like a hot streak that shouldn't be happening. It's not like he's only facing 10 shots a game and is putting up these incredible numbers. He's almost facing about 30 shots per game and is still putting up these numbers and is keeping the Montreal Canadiens in games that they really shouldn't be in. Now this was before the Devils game, but what's even crazier is that since December 28th, among goalies who have at least 5 starts since then, Dobes has the 6th best 5-on-5 save percentage with a .953 save percentage and is also the 6th best in goals against average with 3.82. Now even though this was before the Devils game, Dobes only gave up 4 goals on 44 shots in that game, so these numbers are most likely even better since then. I know it's far-fetched, but it really reminds me of Igor Shesterkin when he first came into the league. Even though he was doing amazing in the KHL, no one was really keeping tabs on this guy, and when he came into the NHL, he honestly just shocked the league. And now look at him, he's one of the best in the world who, yes, success, also has his really bad moments. But now, if you want my honest opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if Jakub Dobes in the next couple of seasons will be competing for a Vezina trophy. If I had no knowledge on Dobes and you told me that in only 5 games played in the NHL career, you would be putting up insane saves in the NHL, I would say you're crazy. But hey, give me your thoughts down below in the comment section. To me, he looks like an experienced goalie, and I'm sure he will continue to put up insane numbers. But hey, give me your thoughts down below. Do you think Jakub Dobes will finish the season with over a .930 save percentage? And also, do you think Jakub Dobes will be one of the greatest goalies of all time? Give me your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, thank you all for the support recently. I know this might seem like an outlandish goal, but I'm trying to hit 10k subs by the end of 2025. And so yeah, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button down below, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.